Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest video in our series focused on IR careers. Once again, we are joined by Smooch Repovich Reynolds, founder and CEO of SmoochUnplugged. Smooch, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you today, Smooch. So in today's video, we are going to discuss the growing importance of ESG, which I'm sure nobody needs reminding of, and then what that means for IR careers, particularly. So Smooch, if I could start off on a question about how this is impacting hiring at the moment. How important is experience of or willingness to learn about ESG, when applying for investor relations roles today?
Well, it's a great question, Tim, because many IROs have no experience. Some have quite a bit, depending upon the companies they've worked for and how advanced those companies are in their thinking about ESG and their commitment to it. I think more important than tangible experience for those who are just dipping their big toe is the mindset that they want to immerse themselves in the topic and learn it kind of by the bootstraps.
Sure. And for those IROs who maybe don't have much experience or don't have experience with this area, what would you recommend? How can they go about trying to sort of fill that sort of gap in their professional experience or in their CV?
Well, I think one of the easiest ways to do this is get on the phone and call your peers. And even if they're competitors, see what they're doing, how they're thinking about it. I also think it's really important for IROs to be initiators. Initiate the conversation inside your company. Create the committee of other executives that need to be involved. I look at this, Tim, and I think it's another opportunity for an IRO to be at the nexus of everything, especially that the consumers, customers, the investment community, they're demanding companies to be savvy on this topic. So it presents a great opportunity for someone to, again, put the general counsel, the head of HR, DE&I, the CFO into a committee together to start working through these issues. There's no one right strategy or not, but you have to start the conversation. And so why not be the leader of it?
Absolutely. So you view this trend as very much then a sort of a career opportunity for IROs. It's something that they can really sort of grab hold of and use to their advantage.
Absolutely. There's no, and our clients, 5 years ago, maybe 10% of our clients were asking about this topic and kind of thinking about it. Today, 50% of our clients want someone who can be the driver of ESG, whether they have the experience or not. So the doors of opportunity have opened for IROs, and that's where they're going to park at least part of the leadership and ownership of ESG. And that's why I say I think this is a tremendous opportunity. The subject's not going away. It's only going to become bigger. Boards of directors are going to expect that a strategy is put in place. And we all know in the community around the world, the investment community, that investment firms, some of them will not invest in your company unless you can show you have a well thought out, well designed ESG strategy. So I think some companies have that, mainly more consumer area. I think companies need to really increase the speed at which they deal with this issue.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had an article on IR Magazine recently about sort of including ESG communications and your ESG strategy as part of sort of IPO communications. And it's really expected at that point of a company's journey now as well. So potentially,
Yes.
Before the IR person may even have joined the company.
Well, I think that's right. I always feel that the smart companies hire an IRO long before they go public. But I do think that that's another layer of the IPO process, whether it's a SPAC or a traditional IPO, that is very much a conversation point along the way.
And Smooch, we love to finish these conversations with a piece of practical advice for our viewers. So just on this topic of the growing importance of ESG, what would you sort of say to IROs listening today? How can they sort of help themselves to stay on top of this trend and use it to their advantage?
Well, immerse yourself in the topic, Tim. It's new, it's fresh, you're not going to find a plan that's a kind of a canned one you pull off the shelf. So I think you have to make the conscious, intentional decision that you want to be at the forefront, you want to be a leader, and just jump in. And that takes a little bit of courage because there's a little risk there. But I think there's very little downside and a lot of career upside for those IROs who do that.
Fantastic. Well, Smooch, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts on this really important topic for the investor relations community. Really appreciate you sharing your time and expertise today.
Well, thanks, Tim, for asking me to talk about this. It's one that I'm passionate about. And, later this year, I hope we have another conversation about it because it's only going to be more exciting as time goes by.
Absolutely. We'll have to check in about it again soon. But for now, thank you so much.